attention to what's going on in education, and I've had a passion, having spent 25 years in Silicon Valley working under Moore's Law, and then coming back and finding education hasn't had any change in productivity in 100 years. It has bothered me greatly. But earlier this year I realized that a whole series of things have come together, that there is a world revolution in education taking place. And many people have not noticed it, but I want to give you a very good overview of why I think this is literally going to change the world in the next decade. We are seeing the beginning of the end of tuition as a revenue model, academic gatekeepers, student loans, tests, grades, and degrees. And here's where it's coming from. In 2009, a single individual, Sal Khan, started the Khan Academy. He has currently now produced 3,000 videos. In math, it goes from 1 + 1 up through calculus, trigonometry, geometry, linear algebra. These are all online and for free. They have 4 million views a month of this. His objective is to educate the world with a faculty of 1. Now that's what I like as productivity. The real thing, though, is in the assessment system that you can set up as a parent, a teacher, a coach, or a mentor. The students join it, and you can track down to the second time on task of each individual item. The students have an infinite number of problems to do. They have to get 10 sequential right answers, so mastery is required before they move ahead. In a classroom situation, they flip the classroom. You're going to hear a lot more about this in the coming years, where teachers no longer teach content, they assign the videos. When the kids come in, they do the homework in class where the teacher can help them, and the teacher knows exactly who's having a problem. So if you've got 30 kids and only 4 have a problem, the teacher focuses on those 4, and the others can take off and do what they want. Again, online, free. This is an assessment system that is a decade ahead of anything else that's being done. This is a course that I say really started it all. I took the course in October of last year. It was offered by the Stanford School of Engineering. 200 students took it on campus. The online version was offered for free with no prerequisite, and it was videoed so you could take it anytime, any place. In my cohort, there were 160,000 people. 23,000 did the homework and passed the exams. 253 with perfect scores. Now, to put the 160,000 in perspective, that represents more students taught than all the computer science professors in the world for that course period of time. The 23,000 that passed it represent more students passing a course than most professors will teach in their career. And the exciting part, of the 200 that took it on campus at Stanford, in the last course, 41 were in class. The other 159 took it online. The professor gave the toughest exam ever, and he had the highest percentage on campus passing rate ever. The new economic model that's coming out of that is the value of those 253 with perfect scores. They are looking at an employment agency model, whereas they will represent the top students in the world to the top companies in the world. And if you work that out on a Silicon Valley headhunter fee thing, 50 students equal $1 million. So with representing fewer than 5% of the top students, they can fund the education of the rest of the world for free. Major new change. The professor, Sebastian Thrun, immediately resigned from Stanford and started Udacity. This is a for-profit company working out of Silicon Valley. They've already got 16 courses online, and they're running about 100,000 in those courses. The next one that was set up also, Udacity, happened in January. Coursera was introduced really in February. Coursera was another Stanford spinoff, the University of Pennsylvania, Michigan, and now there's 16 other schools doing it. In less than 7 months, Coursera has enrolled 1 million students. Now let me put that in perspective. Facebook reached 1 million members in 10 months. So this is coming fast. It's coming at internet speed. They've got well over 100 and some courses. Again, all of them free. I expect that they are going to have an advertising model when they come out. They've got $27 million in venture funding. The following month, there was a partnership announced by MIT and Harvard setting up edX. edX has $30 million from each of the schools, $60 million in venture funding. It's an independent organization. This is the same model that IBM used when they set up their personal computer division with the ability to kill off the mainframe. Now, they're not going to kill off MIT and Harvard because of a lot of other reasons, but they are not restrained by MIT and Harvard in how they approach the market. edX's revenue model is you can take the course for free, you can take the exams, and if you demonstrate mastery in the exams, then you have the option to pay a nominal amount of money that'll be less than $100 to get credit for the course. Now, $100 isn't much until you put 6 zeros behind it. When you're teaching 100,000 people or having a 100,000 pass your course at $100 for the certificate, that's real money. Just this week, if you've been listening to NPR, the University of the People has been announced. This has got support from the United Nations. It's basically also a free online kind of course, and they're just getting up and running. TED, which hopefully many of you watched the TED presentations, has created a separate section of TED Ed. And their courses will be also online and for free. So what's the other thing that we need is certifications, how do you get credits and things like that. Mozilla, of course, is the developer of Firefox. They're also working now on an open source badges project. And badges are basically a verification of skills. And I would submit to you that if you think about a liberal arts degree, the requirements for it have not changed in 100 years. And I would suggest that jobs have changed significantly. Badges represent the ability to define a skill set to a specific job. They will, in time, become job descriptions in themselves, and I believe will eventually replace degrees. SkillUp is a group that was just announced this week, launched, and they are basically a group that rather than going into edX or Coursera, you can go in and say, I want to learn PHP programming. And you put that in, and all 120 people that are having some kind of course are listed from the cheapest to the most expensive. They'll eventually have an Amazon kind of system, 5 stars, that will tell you then what's the best, and so you can look at cost versus how effective the course is. Wisconsin, 2 weeks ago, announced a competency-based degree program. Now, I had predicted in the EPIC movie that I did, EPIC 2020, that this would happen in 2014, so it's happening 2 years ahead of where I thought it was going to be. Competency-based is basically getting credit for demonstrating your skills or knowledge of something. If you can go into an Econ 101 class and pass the final exam, and any other thing that they want in there, why should you have to sit in class? If you can demonstrate that you already know the material, then you should be able to get credit. Now, Wisconsin's clearly working with the state in addressing the same answers we're trying to get here in Ohio, or the same questions of how do you get more college graduates quicker? How do you get people that are within a few things of their degrees that are got jobs and can't meet the synchronous schedules and all the other things, get them classes, and this is a great answer to it. So, the new revenue models, you're going to have foundations in governments. The Khan Academy is a great example of that. They have $15 million right now in venture funding for an organization of 20 people. And they're going to be doing great things with it. Sal Khan developed the first 2,000 videos on an investment of $10,000. So, he's got a lot of room to go. Employment agency, as I said, 50 hires equal $1 million. Right now, universities, when they graduate, people basically throw them out the door. These people are realizing that's where the value is. And that's where the happy value is. Companies are willing to spend that versus putting students in debt. And as I said, a $100 fee, if you add 6 zeros, that's a big number. Advertising, data mining, they're just beginning to take a look at that. And particularly Udacity, they're generating a tremendous amount of information on the students, not only how quickly they were able to do things, but how many helped other students progress. So you've got teamwork and mentorship and things like that as well. Corporate sponsorships, you can see DuPont equaling chemistry as far as funding industry segment kinds of things. And basically the old internet thing of less than 10% of the people fund the other 90% of the world. So this is the start of world-class teachers, world-class academic technology, internet-based, no prerequisites, courses anywhere, anytime in the world, for free, badges will equal skills, and education is changing from a scarce local craft to a global commodity. And this has happened in the last 6 months. So if you can imagine, at the end of this century, if every person in the world has unlimited access to world-class education, and the human capital of the world is now growing at exponential rates, and knowledge is replacing ideological dogma, the changes that this portends